talk about tractor rules. Don't break the rules of the tractor. I had two other cousins growing up. My cousin Jeremy is older than me. If I've ever in my life had a brother that I love, Jeremy Johnson is him. We also had another cousin, TH. He was named after our grandfather, but he didn't quite have Grandpa's abilities. Anyway, everybody's different. So, as kids, all these, three boys on the farm, everybody wants to be the tractor driver. Everybody wants to be the tractor driver. I want to drive. I want to drive. Well, unlike those two cousins, I was always with Grandpa. I was always doing something with him. He was teaching me how to, break land, gain discs, service tractors, grease them up, check everything over. And so Grandpa realized he was going to have an issue because, they've, both of those cousins are his grandkids too, so he doesn't want to make their parents mad. And so he sits down and he says, Glenn, I got a way we're going to fix this tractor driving problem. Everybody wants to drive. And I said, okay. He said, no matter what happens, how do you crank a tractor? And I said, well, the first thing you do is you go up to it and you check the water in the radiator, open up the lid for the diesel tank, make sure there's diesel fuel in it, look at the front spindles, make sure it's been greased, look at all the tires, and then if all that's good, you make sure it's taken out of gear, sit on it, crank her up, let her warm up a little bit. Don't just gag it wide open with don't just shoot the throttle to it. Let the engine spin a little bit, get the oil stirred up, then put it in gear and go and do what you got to do. He said, don't ever forget it. I said, okay. So the next weekend, this is sometime during the week, like a Wednesday or something. So on Saturday, he's going to have tractor driving tryouts for the three grandsons. So we're all at the front of his warehouse, and out in a field, he has three small tractors, and they are a ways out there in that field. It's not walk 3 minutes and get to the tractor. They're across the 15-acre field, on the other side of a 15-acre run. So he says, okay, boys. And my grandpa's deaf, so he shouts pretty loud. This is how we're going to do it. Now, when you're driving a tractor and we got all these people working, we have to be fast and efficient and not mess anything up. And we're all like, yeah, Grandpa, yeah, we got it. He said, so here's the deal. First person out there that gets on the tractor, cranks it up successfully, parks it in front of me, is the head tractor driver, and the other two will have to fill in as needed, but we'll be cropping the back and everything else. He said, so when I say go, y'all go. And when he said go, we all took off like rockets. I was pretty fast. We all get there about the same time. Maybe one was on the tractor quicker than the other, but I definitely was not on the seat first. So I get there. By the time I get to the tractor, one's already being crunked up, then the other one's just a second or two behind it. Gag them open, pow, and they take off. I walk up to the tractor, I check the water, I check the diesel fuel, I get back off, look at the front spindles, walk around, make sure it looks good, crank it up, let it idle a second, and by the time it's still idling, they're already cut off in front of the barn, in front of Grandpa, looking at me like, that's right. We're going to be the head tractor drivers this year. So I pull up with the tractor probably 2 minutes after they get there. And they said, all right, Grandpa, who won? He said, well, fellas, I hate to tell you this, but the only person that successfully crunk a tractor was Glenn. And they were, let's say they were disappointed. And so Grandpa said, Glenn, always maintain your thought processes under pressure. That's the only reason you get to drive. He says, and now I don't have to make their parents mad. I said, okay, Grandpa. So let's get to the next one.